Barely Watched podcast. I'm your host with the most, Devon Booker. We have Lester Whoopvong Jr. in the building. As always, Lester, we greatly appreciate you having some time for us.
What's up, man? How you doing today?
It's pretty good on this Saturday. I'm riding high off that preseason finale, which was a victory, a come from behind victory. So I'm
Yes.
feeling good, ready to go into the season. How are you feeling, sir?
Undefeated Bears. They did it again, just like last year. Flus was undefeated last year.
Yeah.
Matt Eberflus's preseason record, I think, was 8-2 in his career. So
Yeah.
So I mean, man, if expectations are preseason wins equate, that means nothing, I guess. So yeah, we'll see what happens in week 1 against the Vikings.
Did you see what Josh Allen said? He said, "Oh man, we don't want to see the Bears in the preseason. They kicked our butts last year. They kicked our butts this year."
Man, no, it's all good. No, it was fun, man. It's again, man. Preseason is preseason. It doesn't really matter, but it's a lot better to see your team win than lose. Obviously, it's fun as fans, But look at the individual performances. Try and look at how the ones play, and the ones had a bit of a struggle yesterday. But the Chiefs are one of the best teams in the league. So anyone expected the Bears to come out and just walk over them like they did the Bills the week prior?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't happening. So this was good. I think it was good for them to kind of get this wake up call because Ben Johnson's right. He's going to get back to practice and say, "See, you guys ain't shit now, right?" Mm-hmm. So it's going to be one of those things where he's not going to sugarcoat anything, and this team will get to work and be ready for Week 1 Vikings.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, he was saying yesterday that it was a sloppy performance. He was not thrilled. He was not excited to see what he saw from his first team, and I like that this coach holds his players accountable, and we haven't seen that in quite some time in Chicago.
No, it's been a while. With Flus, it was always he'd always find someone to blame, and then if something did go right, he made sure the praise was on him. It was always Coach Flus's great job calling the defense or a great decision he made. So Ben Johnson has been definitely a breath of fresh air and definitely what this franchise needs.
Of course. So obviously, I'm a huge part of Bears Twitter. I'm involved in Bears Twitter, so I'm always seeing what people say, whether it's negative or positive about the Bears. How come it was this yesterday? So obviously the Bears were losing, they were down bad, but then it's all of a sudden see, told you the Bears aren't this, the Bears aren't that. But just a week ago, it was it's only preseason. But then when the Bears finally do come back from behind and win, it's just preseason. How come it wasn't just preseason when they were losing?
It's the roller coaster. It's the roller coaster of fandom. Fans. What is fan short for? Fanatic. These guys are nuts. So, for the most part, especially Bears Twitter, man, it's social media, man. Fans are going to go crazy one way or the other. They're going to be too high, too low. We do it too. All of us fans kind of get caught up in that moment as well. But like I said, it's preseason. To quote the great Allen Iverson, right? We talk about practice. Come on, man. That's like you can't get too worked up over practice. So, the Bears may struggle, out the gate, because this is a new offense. Breaking things in. They threw a ton at Caleb, during training camp. They're working with some new people, a new O-line. Braxton Jones, left tackle, still. There's still some issues there. So, there may be some speed bumps, but I think overall, come on, man. If you can't be excited for where this team is headed in the future, then you're trying too hard to be negative as a Bears fan.
Of course. What were some takeaways that you had, Lester, from seeing the first team offense out there yesterday?
Yeah, like I said, they struggled a bit. Braxton Jones looks a little rough still at left tackle. I think the plan always, I think, was for him. I think they figured he'd be the guy. I think they hoped his injury would not linger as long as it did. I'm not saying it was a setback or anything. I think they're hoping that he would be recovered quicker than he was. He still seems to have some effects from that broken ankle on his post and push off when he gets set there for his thing. But overall, the veteran was always probably going to be your best option over the rookie Ozzie Trapillo, who has now seemed to have settled over on the right side. Karan Amagazi kind of fell out of favor. Theo Beneday, it's a nice story, but man, he ain't starting at left tackle for the NFL right now. So it's going to be Braxton Jones at left tackle. And then the nice thing is, though, is Ben Johnson's smart enough to know, man, he knows, okay, I got to scheme help to him sometimes. He'll know where Braxton Jones's problem is. Obviously the anchor's always been an issue. But now with the leg injury that he's still coming back from, maybe he knows, okay, I got to give him a little extra help on the inside. So, that's where Joe Thuney comes in, maybe he's having a problem, getting back out to a certain edge depth, so now maybe he has a tight end or a running back chip. So Ben Johnson will know how to scheme around that. but overall, man, the offense was fine. Ups and downs, kind of like it was during training camp. They
Mhm.
got a little better when they finished the installs. They finished good against the Chiefs, which is what you want to see. I mean, that last drive was nice.
Mhm.
They did go down and get a field goal. They went down to get that last second touchdown before the half. So that's the kind of positivity you want to see. But overall, like I said, there'll be some growing pains. But still, man, it's Ben Johnson, it's Caleb Williams, Roma Dunze. This is a talented offense, and they'll get things figured out eventually.
Yeah, and Caleb's final numbers weren't bad either. I
Not
mean,
bad, yeah,
they were not bum numbers, so I was like, I think the Bears are going to be good. And you got to remember, the Chiefs were playing their starters too, and the Chiefs are amongst the best in the NFL too. So you can't just expect them to steamroll
yeah,
the people who have played in the last five of the six Super Bowls. You
yeah,
can't just expect them to come in and steamroll them with the new offense and all their rookies trying to get their
yeah.
motion and get their footing as well too.
And then over on defense, I mean, the D line looks a little rough still. I mean, I think they're. It seemed like at times the defense kind of made some business decisions. Like they kind of
Hmm.
like. I'm not gonna. I don't want to say they didn't give full effort, but there were some times you're like, they're just kind of going through the motions out there a bit. But as far as generating pressure, how many times did Mahomes just kind of slip pressure?
Yeah,
I,
almost every time that
like
I watch.
kind of watching the game live. It's like the Bears' pressure wasn't as bad as I think some fans think it was, but Mahomes
Hmm.
is just Mahomes, man. He made a few magical plays in preseason. He's just, I mean, he is two-time MVP for a reason. So he's going to
Hmm.
get his. He's going to make his plays. So it was an interesting game to kind of see how the Bears fared up against one of the elite teams in the NFL.
They're definitely going to need some help from Montez Sweat on that offensive line
Yeah, yeah,
because,
yeah,
as you talked about, it just doesn't seem like the pressure is just there just yet. And I know a lot of people are hoping and wishing for the emergence of Austin Booker, but that's kind of a lot to ask for the second year man. That's a lot
no,
to
exactly.
ask of the second year man.
All good. Yeah, I think with Booker, Ben Johnson was finally asked about it at the press conference last night, and he mentioned that maybe a few weeks out for the injury. So
Hmm.
maybe a candidate for short term IR. We'll kind of see what a few weeks is in his mind. Is it a few weeks from where he was hurt, which puts it at week 1, or is it still a few weeks? Right. So if it's still a few weeks,
Hmm.
maybe they put him on short term IR, give themselves an extra roster spot, bring him back after 4 weeks. When he's completely healthy. But yeah, Booker's got to step up too this year. Booker, Sweat. They paid Deo a ton of money. He's got to make some difference on the other opposite side. So,
Has he
but
played preseason yet? Sorry
yeah,
to
he
cut you
played a
off.
little bit. I
Oh,
mean, he's fine. I mean, he didn't really do much, but like I said, the Bears didn't do much, overall. So, um, he's an outside player. They gave him that big money for upside. He hasn't had a huge year in the NFL yet, but
mhm.
he's very young. He fits the profile that Dennis Allen wants in his type of defensive end. He'll be good against the run. He just doesn't have great speed off the edge. So, but I think that they're going to try and scheme looks up to kind of get guys free in the pass rush.
Got it, got it. Now, obviously, this is a feel-good story. Obviously, they extended Tyson Bagent 2 years, $10 million. Had him crying at the podium as well too, knowing his family history, his father's history in the past as well too.
Yeah.
How good does that make you feel, and how promising should the fans feel that they were able to pay Tyson Bagent that amount of money?
Man, this should be like the feel good story. Bears fans should be united in their happiness for this.
Hmm.
But there's like this portion of Bears fans who are just like they just want to overhype it, and they want to they hate Caleb for whatever reason, and it's like they take every chance they can to take shots. But man, this is a homegrown player. They signed him as a UDFA. They developed him into a quality QB2, and maybe someday he will be a QB1. But right now, I mean, he understands that playing in this offense with Ben Johnson, he's going to get the development he needs, the coaching he needs, to where when his contract is up and he is ready to sign another deal, he may get a starter look somewhere else. So I think it's a great deal for him. It's a great deal for the Bears. And like I said, man, just a good kid, good all around. This should be a feel good story that all Bears fans are excited about.
Now, obviously, it's the NFL, so obviously injuries are a big part of the game. Could you see the Bears possibly getting calls this year if we were to see a quarterback go down or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I mean the starting quarterbacks. There aren't 32 good starting quarterbacks in the league as it is.
Hmm.
let alone 32 quality backups. So yeah, I mean, if the right team gets an injury and they feel, man, we're a playoff contender because of our defense, because of our running game, we just need a quarterback to kind of come in and right the ship.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll get some calls, but he's under contract now for a 2-year extension. You know, he's going to be developed even more and be better at next year. So I can't see the Bears making a move unless they are really blown away. Like if someone comes over the top with like a huge number, they'll have to do it. But I think right now, I mean, this is going to be your quarterback room for the next 3 years.
Yes, sir. And obviously, some of those throws that he were making yesterday were just unbelievable.
Yeah,
Like, was it the pass to Jade Jackson? Don't quote me if
Walker.
Jade Walker.
Yeah, yeah,
Excuse
yeah.
me, Jade Walker. That was a perfectly thrown ball. The way he threw it over the defender's shoulder, I was like, wow, we have a stud here going
Yeah, I mean, he's
forward.
a good quarterback. He has good accuracy. He runs the offense. Some of his arm strength issues so creeps up at times, but honestly, I think it's a little overblown because he's smart. He plays on time. He understands where his guys got to be. He puts the ball in a pretty good place for his guys to make a play on it. So
Hmm.
if Caleb goes down at any point in the season, I'm fine with him coming in. And Ben knows him knows his skill set. He won't ask him to do what he can't do.
Hmm.
He'll tweak the offense a little bit for Bagent, and I think the Bears will be fine. I mean, all my trust at this point is in Ben Johnson for figuring out what the best thing to do, because what he did in
Nice,
Detroit was phenomenal,
nice. So
and
since your
I
trust
see that going up.
is, sorry to cut you off.
No, no, good.
Since your trust is in Ben Johnson, how good do you feel about the running back room going into the season? I love it. I've seen DeAndre Swift just catching a lot of slack. They said, "Oh well, you see, Johnson didn't like him in Detroit. He went to Philadelphia. They didn't like him in Philadelphia." But you got to remember, he produced everywhere he went.
Yeah,
Both he was 1,000 yard rusher with the Eagles, 1,000 yard rusher with the Lions, and I think it was 900 yards last year's with the Bears' crappy offensive line.
yeah. I think we talked a little bit about it last week. I mean, Ben Johnson's first year as the offensive coordinator in Detroit, DeAndre Swift was a starting tailback.
Hmm.
Swift got hurt like week 2, week 3. But go back and look at his numbers those first couple weeks. He was the guy. I mean, he was their top tailback as far as rushes, touches. And then he got injured. They put in Jamal Williams, who had a career year, right? I mean, he had like 15 touchdowns that season.
Hmm.
Really good between the tackles, runner, powerful, big guy. So Ben Johnson kind of changed his offense up a little bit. He got Swift back from injury, and he still kind of sprinkled them in. And Swift kind of had, I think he had his career year best as far as yards per carry. He averaged like 5.5 yards per carry, something around that ballpark. So he knows how to use them. I thought it was kind of neat. We saw, I think there were 3, third and shorts in the game
Hmm.
last night where he put Swift that, hey, you're the guy. You're in here. You get that first down. And he did it. I mean, last year we kind of saw Swift kind of run and maybe be indecisive on those short plays.
Hmm.
I don't know what it was, man. He picked up each one of those first downs. He got in there, put his head down, got what he had to get. So I think Ben Johnson trusts him. He knows the offense. He that hurdle. Come on, how about that hurdle he had? I mean,
That hurdle was phenomenal.
I normally hate
Seriously.
seeing players hurdle because I just feel they're going to get racked. Right, it's going to be
Yeah,
a
yeah,
bad
yeah,
helmet to huevos, and it's going to be a problem there. But man, he did it. I mean, he executed it. And so he's a good athlete. He's good in space, and Ben knows that. He won't put him up the middle very often. Hopefully, he gets Cal Monangai back, Roshan Johnson. Someone comes back that can do those short yardage stuff. But the fact that he trusted Swift in that situation, I think that says a lot.
Do you think we'll see Monangai over Roshan Johnson a lot this year?
It's hard to say because they're both hurt right now. So it's like
Hmm.
Roshan Johnson, he missed like 3 weeks. I think Kyle Monangai's missed like a week and a half, maybe 2. Um, Royce Freeman, they signed off the street and he played in the game yesterday. So it's hard to say what they're going to do. Ian Wheeler was inactive last night. I don't know what that means.
Hmm.
Does that mean that he's a roster lock? But I can't see that why they would do that. That's what some fans on Twitter said, that, oh, the fact that he didn't play, he's a lock. Well, they played Swift. Swift is definitely a lock more than Wheeler. So I don't know if they just want to kind of like protect some of their depth there. But I like Wheeler. I think he's fine. I mean, I think he's a practice squad guy, but it's hard to say. I think with Monangai, the upside I think is there for him, but Roshan was a 4th-round pick. He's a pretty strong runner, and I mentioned Jamal Williams earlier with Detroit. If you look at their physical comps, size, speed, athleticism, Roshan Johnson and Jamal Williams are very similar.
Hmm.
So Ben Johnson can get production out of a guy like that. So I think that I don't know. We got to see him healthy. Right now they're not. Like that's a big issue. Rojo and Kyle Monangai are both injured. They got 2 weeks till week 1. So
Hmm.
hopefully they get back and get ready to go.
Is that why we didn't see Tremaine Edmonds last night? Because they're just protecting certain guys, or?
Tremaine after the game mentioned he had a slight soft tissue injury.
Oh no.
They said it's nothing. I mean, you kind of it's hard to tell because they don't really have to say, but they said it wasn't much. So maybe he felt a tweak in pregame, and you're like, now we'll just hold him out. So I don't think it'll be an issue moving forward.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Now since we're on the topic of injuries, what update do you have on us and our defensive guys for Jaylon Johnson? We haven't seen him at all this preseason. I haven't seen him around in pictures or anything like that, which that doesn't mean anything just because you haven't seen him in pictures.
Yeah.
But what does that mean to you, and what do you know?
And the last we saw him was against the Bills, right? He kind of warmed up pregame. He did some running around and stuff. One of our guys, Dr. Mason West, he's a physical therapist. He kind of looked at the film as much as he could. And you can't tell too much from watching a guy, but he said he did notice a little bit of a gait in his run. He kind of noticed some push-offs a little less one way or the other. So, the Bears kept saying he should be on track for week 1. So
That's a tall order
it
to go
is,
against
yeah.
Justin Jefferson coming back from an injury. Do you think he's up for the challenge? I mean, obviously he has that competitive nature. Do you think they'll maybe put him on the number 2 receiver? Because you remember they're without Jordan Addison for the first 3 weeks as well too.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, right now, if healthy, he's clearly your best corner. So we'll see what happens there. But I don't know, man. Right now, it's is he healthy? It's good they got Kyler Gordon back. He was back practicing this last week, so he's back from his whatever injury he had. So they just got to get healthy. I mean, if that defense is healthy, they should be pretty good. But Jalen's a big loss if he can't go.
Who's going to be the opposing corner? Obviously Tariq Stevenson. But if we don't have Jaylon Johnson to go, who's going to step in and fill that role? Because obviously we had Terrell Smith go down for the season.
Yeah, they had Wright there starting all year, and he had a rough game playing a lot of man to man against the Chiefs.
Hmm.
So we'll kind of see what happens. My guess is it'll be Wright and Tyreek if Jalen can't go, and if Jalen can go, I think it'll be Tyreek to the bench and Jalen and Nashawn Wright.
What? Tyreek to the bench?
Well, who knows? I mean, they haven't really made any announcements, but oh Jesus, my dogs are annoying the hell
It's
out of me
okay. I
now.
have dogs too.
Yeah, so Wright's been the guy getting the number 1 reps, with Johnson out. So, Tyreek has had some lapses again. He hasn't had the best of camps. We'll kind
Mhm.
of see how that all plays out. But I mean, look, I like Tyreek's upside. He just was really goofy last year. So we'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
definitely. Now, as we get ready to close out this episode, let's just talk about the expectations that Ben Johnson have been bringing and changing this culture, changing the overall direction of this team. Because, as I said before, he was not impressed with the number ones. He said it was very sloppy, and like I said, and it's all about accountability with him. How do you see that transitioning into wins now and actual player development for the Bears?
Yeah, I think wins will come. I think fans are going to be disappointed because I don't think they're going to win as many as a lot of fans think. I think they have a chance for the playoffs. 9 wins could be there. If things break right, maybe 10 wins. But this is a 5-win team last year. I think that they're better than that.
Hmm.
But man, the division is so tough. The Packers are good. The Vikings are going to be good again, as long as JJ McCarthy kind of gives them enough. Um, and then, of course, the Lions. So then they also play the AFC South with Ravens, Steelers. It's a
Hmm.
tough division. Bengals. So there are some tough games on this schedule. So you're going to see some improvements, but it may not equate in the actual wins. I still got them in the playoffs. I think they're going to sneak into the 7th seed in the NFC. I just think something will happen. There'll be a break here or there. Jordan Love may not be as good as Packer fans want him to be. JJ McCarthy may stumble a little bit. So I think they have a good chance at making that 7th seed in the playoffs if things break just right for them.
And you see them going all the way to the Super Bowl too, right?
Sure, yeah.
No, but seriously, though, how long do you think it will take for that offense to finally click though, and to actual get in their groove and rhythm? Because obviously, week one,
Yeah.
I think they're going to struggle. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to lose the game. Obviously, I would want them to win, but that game is going to be up in the air. Like the offense is just going to take a while to get in their groove.
Well, the nice thing about the first week, yeah, Todd Bowles is a good defensive coordinator, right? Go back and look at Caleb's numbers last year against Todd Bowles. They're pretty damn good. I mean, him against that Todd Bowles blitz for whatever reason, and this was with the Waldron offense. He was good against the Vikings last year. Now they lost both games. Obviously, that they didn't get the dub, but he is decent against the blitz. I think Ben Johnson will help him be a little better. So you got to go back and look at Ben Johnson when he took over in Detroit. That first year, they started slow, and by the time the year ended, they had a pretty good offense. They ended up finishing, I think, top 10. Next year, they were top 5 offense. Next year, I think they had the best offense in the NFL. So that's the path you hope this offense takes. And Caleb Williams is a different quarterback than Jared Goff, but just going by who they are as talents, you would hope Caleb Williams ends up with a better career trajectory than a guy like Goff. So if that's the case, and if Ben Johnson is who we all want him to be, I mean, this window's opening for the Bears. So they should be a playoff contender year in, year out, as long as Ben Johnson's at head coach.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard it here first. I'm Barely Watched. That was Lester Wilt Vaughn Jr. I'm your host with the most, Devon Booker. Thank you guys for all tuning in. Lester, thank you for giving us some time as always, sir.
Anytime, my friend.
Yes, sir.